A few minutes, the Royal Highness Prince Radu of Romania is going to join us. There will be this very short ceremony. I'll say a couple of things about what, in fact, made us come here. And then there will be a very short awarding ceremony of the fourth Cantemir Prize. This is a prize we established several years ago at the University of Oxford. We delivered it to 3 times there, and we wanted to continue this annual award. And from this year on, this will be granted here, awarded in Parish Castle. And at a certain moment, I'll announce also the name of the recipient.
Hello.
Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered at Parish Castle on the occasion of the first in a series, we hope, a long series of Royal Colloquia, this time devoted to utopia and revolution. We hope to do it every year from now on, and this is taking place under the auspices of the Royal Family of Romania on the Royal Estate. This is not the first time we meet in similar circumstances, even to discuss utopia at Parish Castle, so we shall continue for the years to come. This is also, we thought, a good opportunity to revive the tradition that we had established in Oxford, as I said, the Cantemir Prize. Now, I wrote shortly in the introduction of the conference that these 2 princes, father and son, were universal humanists themselves with Romanian roots, spanning a huge territory, a number of languages, of cultures, of civilizations, and setting a kind of example of transnational, in fact, universal humanism at the beginning of the 18th century, for a huge territory ranging from Constantinople to St. Petersburg to London and Paris, going through Berlin. So we thought that this would be an appropriate symbol for what we would like to honor every year. Now, this year, the recipient of the 4th Cantemir Award is Professor Moshe Idel from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Professor Moshe Idel, our friend, was born in Romania in January 1947. I avoid to mention the date. He knows why, because he's born on 2 dates, actually, according to the records. So this is why I always say happy birthdays, Moshe, not just happy birthday. He is a stellar figure in the field of religious studies and of Jewish studies, and he has covered the entire field of Jewish mysticism for decades. And we want to celebrate in this personality once again a universal humanist with Romanian and Jewish roots. Your Highness.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Parish Castle, and I cannot even begin to tell you how immensely proud and full of hope I am that after a number of years of interrupting the activity of the Cantemir Institute in Oxford, today we have the strength and the vision, inspiration, I would say, to move the extraordinary series of conferences and colloquia we started about a decade ago from the Temple of Science and Education, which is Oxford University, to Temple of the Romanian Modern State, which is Parish Castle. I think it's quite a good exchange, and it is also a more appropriate place in order to emphasize how extraordinary it is for a culture such as Romanian culture to have had in the 17th century people like Dimitrie Cantemir and in the decades later his son. I found the project very inspired and very profound, a very responsible one from the beginning. And despite the fact that between 2013, which was our first participation at Oxford University, and today, there are 4 years of gap, I only believe that this gap was perhaps the necessary step back we needed to create a more longer-lasting event this time, opening the doors of the Royal Estate of Sinaia for you and for the next guests that will honor us with their presence. This is not something that happens for the first time in this building. For 150 years, as much as the modern Romanian state was shaped in the walls of this house, it was also a place where the most extraordinary scholars we had in the country for 150 years gathered many times, sometimes asked by the kings of Romania to give their advice in political matters, sometimes asking them to contribute to the Romanian science and culture. The result is that if you have a chance to look at the newly published book about the story of this castle, you will find out what an amazing number of personalities, your predecessors, passed through this fantastic temple, which is actually a unique place in our history and in our destiny. As Professor Antohi said, this is the 4th Cantemir Prize. I had the pleasure to give the first one to a very prominent and distinguished French scholar of Romanian origins. And then the second one and the third one followed, awarding a group of people, 2 each time, who wrote remarkable books about the fields of interest of the colloquia. And it is for the first time, this 4th Cantemir Award, that goes to a scholar for a lifetime achievement. So, quite an appropriate gesture in such a wonderful place. So thanking you very much for the generosity to respond to the invitation of Professor Antohi. I would like to invite Professor Idel to receive his prize.
Some words.
Moshe, a few words.
So, for many years I was fascinated by Dimitrie Cantemir for 4 different reasons. One, I was born in the place he was the prince, the less important one. The second one is actually he gave the first historical description of the Ottoman Empire in the period of the movement named Sabatilis. So far I couldn't find anything that connects Sabatilis with his history, but at least he gave an idea about what happened in the Ottoman Empire in the 17th century. Third, Cantemir was the voivode, the prince in Moldavia in a period of Nascent Hasidism. And actually, based on his description of Moldavia, another very important book of his, I was able to situate, like the founder of Hasidism, in the Romanian part of the border rather than in the Ukrainian-Polish part. And last but not least, people don't know that Cantemir was interested in the writings of a German quasi-Kabbalist named Van Helmont. And he, in a way, interpreted something which is still not published, but there are some articles about it, including one very, very recent. So, in a way or another, he touched Kabbalah, Sabbatinism, and Hasidism, which I hope, when everything will be published, and that's not in my lifetime, more material, more points of convergence will emerge. So, thank you very much for the honor, and I hope to be invited sometime again here. So, Sorin, thank you very much again.
Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness. Thank you very much, Moshe.